The next step in our Stripe integration is subscription management. We're accepting users' money and updating their subscription status in our database to reflect whether they paid or not. Now we need to give users the ability to manage their subscription. This includes canceling it, changing their payment method, and seeing their payment history. Luckily for us, the majority of this is taken care of within Stripe. Similar to the checkout experience, we need to create the dashboard session URL and redirect our users to it. We're going to start by creating a new Stripe endpoint, and we're going to call this create portal session.ts. Let's go into our create checkout session, and we're actually going to reuse all of these imports as well as the Prisma client. So let's just copy and paste it over. Next, we're going to create a base URL const. We'll call this localhost 3000. Change this to whatever is relevant to where your local server is running. Next, we're going to want to do an export default event handler. And we want the async event. We'll do a const session equals await get user session, pass it the event to get our, we want get server session to get our logged in user on the server side. Now we're just going to want to check if session.user.email. So if the user does not have an email, let's go ahead and get the error messaging from here. Let's see, where did we do that? In our webhook. So we're going to create an error, and here I'm actually going to just say user not authenticated. Our user needs an email. Okay, now we can do a const account and query for our account. Find first our user email is session.user.email. We're going to do another check here. And so if account does not have a Stripe customer ID, we also want to create an error account. These are unlikely to happen, but if you've been tampering with your database, there's always a chance. So these errors will just help you debug and also just create a resilient setup. Okay, now the fun code. We're going to do stripe.buildingportal.sessions.create. This takes in our Stripe customer ID as well as a return URL. So where it takes you after you successfully manage your billing session. Then we can do return URL portal session.url. Let's now use this. So let's do in our auth menu, let's create a function here. I'm going to call it navigate to Stripe dashboard equals async. And we'll do a const res equals await fetch API. And this is portal session. An option is method post. If response and URL in response, we want to navigate to res.url. And this is also going to have external as true. Else, we're just going to log an error here. Error handling portal session. Now with this new function, we can add it to our manage billing. Oh, I'll just move it above it. Okay, so one thing I forgot to do is here in the base URL, make sure it's valid URL. Otherwise, it will error out. Now with this in place, click Manage Billing, and you'll see here if you go back to your terminal, you're going to see you can't create a portal session in test mode until you save your customer portal settings in test mode. So let's just get this URL, navigate to it, click Save Changes. That should be all we need. Let's try it again, and there you go. Now you see in our Stripe, in our billing portal created by Stripe, we now have the ability to cancel our plan. There you go. You can just click and cancel. Now if you go and navigate to your customer, you see I now have it canceled here. I'm sure you can tell there's a bit of a problem here in our current plans. We have many plans. Ideally, our users only can have one plan. And that is something we're going to work on later in this course. But for now, you can just cancel your plan. This billing portal dashboard is handy if you want to customize things further. So for example, you can go into like cancellations, and if you want to cancel immediately or at the end of billing period, you have these options. You also have the ability to update subscriptions. We'll get into this further in the future, as well as if you want to customize this portal further. For example, portal header, redirect links, etc. Okay, and that's all we have in this episode. Hope you learned a lot. See you in the next one.